A man stood in front of the eastern wall of Jerusalem. He wasn't looking for anything, but then he stopped. He looked closer, and what he saw made him step back in silence. Because carved into that ancient stone, above the most prophetically significant gate in all of Scripture, was a name, not graffiti, not art, a name that hasn't been openly spoken aloud for thousands of years, and now it's appeared on a wall, in Jerusalem, right now. But here's what nobody is talking about. It's not just the name, it's where it appeared, and what that location means for everything that's coming next. The Temple Mount in Jerusalem is not just a historical site, it is the single most contested piece of land on earth. Three major world religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all trace their most sacred moments back to this one location. But there is one wall, one gate, one specific spot on this entire mount that stands above all others in prophetic significance, the Eastern Wall. And built into that wall is a gate that has been sealed shut for over 500 years. It's called the Golden Gate. Some call it the Gate of Mercy. Others call it the Gate of the Messiah. And here is why that name matters. Every major prophet in the Hebrew Bible pointed to this gate as the entry point for the Messiah when he returns. Ezekiel saw it in a vision. He described the glory of God entering Jerusalem from the east through this exact gate. So why is it sealed? In the 1500s, an Ottoman ruler named Suleiman had it bricked up and a cemetery placed directly in front of it. The idea was simple: block the gate, stop the prophecy. But something just appeared directly above it. See, unsealing a gate cannot seal what God has already written. Visitors began noticing it first, not archaeologists, not researchers, ordinary people standing in front of the Eastern Wall, looking up and stopping mid-sentence. Because in the weathered surface of those ancient stones, shaped by centuries of wind, rain, and time, a pattern had formed, a shape, a word, and not just any word. The pattern matched 4 letters in ancient Hebrew, 4 specific letters that together form the most sacred name in all of Scripture: Yod, He, Vav, He, Yahweh, the personal name of God, the name God told Moses at the burning bush, the name that appears nearly 7,000 times in the Hebrew Bible, the name the ancient Israelites considered too holy to speak out loud, that name appearing now on this wall, above this gate. Some immediately said it was erosion, a coincidence, patterns in old stone that the human eye naturally tries to organize into something meaningful. But here is the problem with that explanation. Of all the walls in all the world for a random erosion pattern to form, it formed here, in Jerusalem, on the Eastern Wall, directly above the gate every prophet said the Messiah would walk through. Coincidence requires a lot of faith, too. To understand why this matters, you have to understand what this name actually is. Yahweh is not a title like Lord or King. It is a personal name, specific, direct, intentional. When God spoke to Moses from the burning bush in Exodus 3, Moses asked a simple question. He said, "Who should I tell them sent me?" And God answered, "Tell them I am sent you. This is my name forever, and the name you shall call me from generation to generation." That name, Yahweh, carries a meaning that no other word in any language fully captures. It means the one who was, who is, and who always will be, eternal, unchanging, present. Ancient rabbis believed the 4 letters of Yahweh, Yod, He, Vav, He, actually mimic the sound of human breath, that every inhale and exhale you take is quietly speaking His name without you even realizing it, from your first breath to your last. That name. And now that same name has appeared on a wall in the most watched, most contested, most prophetically loaded city on earth. But this is where it gets deeper. Because God did not just promise to be remembered. He promised to put His name somewhere specific, permanently. And He named the location. In 1 Kings chapter 9, God speaks directly to Solomon after the temple is built. He says, "I have consecrated this temple. I have put my name here forever. My eyes and my heart will always be here." not symbolically, not spiritually as a metaphor. God declared that his name would be placed in Jerusalem, at this location, permanently. For centuries, people read that verse and wondered what it meant in practical terms. How exactly does God put his name somewhere? Could it be written? Could it become visible? And now, thousands of years after that promise was made, something that looks like that very name has appeared on the wall of the place where the temple once stood, right above the gate the prophets pointed to, right facing the Mount of Olives, the same mountain Zechariah chapter 14 says the Messiah's feet will land on when he returns. Yet these are not separate details. They are the same picture. The sealed gate, the name above it, the mountain directly across from it, all of it pointing in the same direction. And there is one more layer to this that most people have completely missed. When Jesus entered Jerusalem on what Christians call Palm Sunday, crowds lined the streets. They were shouting, praising, declaring him as king. The religious leaders were furious. They told Jesus to silence the crowd immediately. And Jesus said something that most people read past without stopping. He said, "If these people keep silent, the stones will cry out. The stones will cry out." That was not a poetic line. In context, it was a declaration that the recognition of who he was could not be stopped, that even the created world would speak if human voices went quiet. And now consider this. In a generation where the name of God has been largely removed from public life, pulled from institutions, argued out of public spaces, treated as offensive, the stones of Jerusalem may be doing exactly what Jesus said they would, crying out, declaring a name that the world has tried to silence. And the location of that declaration is not random. It sits directly above the gate that has one remaining purpose in all of Scripture: to open. One final time, pull back for a moment and look at what is all pointing in the same direction right now: the Eastern Wall, the most prophetically significant structure in Jerusalem, the Golden Gate, sealed for 500 years, directly below where the name appeared, the Mount of Olives, sitting directly across, named in Zechariah 14 as the landing point of the returning Messiah, and the name Yahweh appearing above the gate every prophet said he would walk through. In Matthew 24, Jesus was asked directly, "What will be the sign of your coming?" He gave many answers, but one stands out here. He said his return would come from the east, like lightning from the east flashing to the west. East, the same direction the Golden Gate faces, the same direction the name appeared. In Revelation 14, John describes a moment where 144,000 people stand on Mount Zion with the Lamb, and on their foreheads, his name and his Father's name written. God has always marked what belongs to him. He marked the temple. He marked his people. And now something has appeared on the wall that faces the direction of his return. The question is not whether this is significant. The question is, are you paying attention? There are moments in history where God does something visible, something that cuts through the noise and makes people stop. The burning bush stopped Moses on an ordinary day doing an ordinary job. The writing on the wall in Babylon stopped an entire royal banquet. And now something has appeared on a wall in Jerusalem that is making people stop mid-sentence and step back in silence. The world is full of distractions right now, noise from every direction, and in the middle of all of it, stone that has sat quietly for centuries has formed something that looks like a word. The word. This is not a call to panic. It is not a call to fear. It is a call to pay attention, to look at what is being pointed to ask seriously if the signs are aligning, if the prophecies are converging. So if the name of God is appearing above the gate of his return, what does that mean for the time we are living in? And more personally, what does it mean for you? Because what happens next at that gate changes everything. The Golden Gate has been sealed for over 500 years. A cemetery sits in front of it. Stone and mortar block every arch. It has not opened in living memory, and yet every major prophet in Scripture pointed to it as the entry point for the final chapter of human history. Here is what is rarely talked about. Jewish tradition holds that the gate cannot remain sealed forever, that there is a specific moment, a specific set of conditions under which it must open. And some of those conditions, conditions written thousands of years ago, are being met right now, in real time. And the name above the gate is not the end of the story. It may be the beginning of the final chapter, because sealed gates do not stay sealed when the one they were built for arrives. And if the name is already on the wall, maybe the arrival is closer than anyone is ready for. The gate is sealed, but for how much longer?